This is great grandson of we building we peace.
Shortly after midnight on July 11, 1984, Anthony Williams, a 25-year-old man who played the organ and piano, left his brother's apartment in the Wakefield section of the Bronx to return to his home in Mount Vernon in Westchester County. Earlier that evening, Mr. Williams, who accompanied church choirs, had been at a rehearsal of his new gospel music group, which had just recorded its first album. As he approached Boston Road and Seymour Avenue, he met two men he had known when he lived in the Bronx neighborhood. It was a chance meeting and, as it turned out, it cost Mr. Williams his life. As the three men chatted on the corner, a car drove by and a gunman inside opened fire. Mr. Williams died on the spot. The other two men were not wounded and fled. From the start, Detective Luis Castro of the 47th Precinct and other investigators seemed certain that Mr. Williams, who was highly regarded by those who knew him, was the unintended victim of a planned killing. One man has sought. It was only by finding and questioning witnesses that the detectives learned that Mr. Williams was with the two others when he was shot, according to Deputy Chief Emil A. Ciccotelli, commander of Bronx detectives. One of the two has been questioned, the other is being sought. Investigators now believe the man being sought was the intended target. That man, whose identity is known to the police, is a suspected drug dealer, Chief Ciccotelli said. The chief said that detectives also have a good idea who is connected with the hit and what was behind it. Suspect captured in 1994. Channel 9 of New Jersey came to the residence of 463 South 7th Ave in Mount Vernon, not too far from the incident on Boston RD in the Bronx. Reverend Charles and Isabel Coleman was notified the killer of Anthony Williams was caught in Florida 10 years ago on a New York City street corner. A promising young gospel singer was shot to death, a victim of a drive-by shooting intended for someone else. On Wednesday, the man who police say fired that shot was arrested in Hollywood after being tracked down by two New York detectives and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Thomas G. Massolino, 40, had been living in a motel in the 300 block of Walnut Street on Hollywood's beach for about 2 years. He was charged in the July 11, 1984, murder of Anthony Williams, a 25-year-old organist and singer. "We never thought they would catch anyone," said Williams' uncle, James Davis of St. Petersburg. "We're glad it's done." On the evening he was killed, Williams had rehearsed with his new gospel group. They had recently recorded an album. He taught himself to play the organ and he started playing at churches and directing the choir. He was writing and arranging his own songs, Davis said. A lot of things were happening for him. On that day 10 years ago, Williams ran into two acquaintances at the corner of Boston Road and Seymour Avenue in the Bronx. He stopped to chat. A car rolled up and someone fired a shot. Williams fell, dying on the sidewalk. His acquaintances fled. Police made no arrests at the time but said one of the two men who Williams stopped to talk to may have been the intended shooting victim. Detectives later learned that the shooting involved a turf war between street-level drug dealers, one of whom worked for a larger drug organization that wanted a competitor killed. "This poor innocent guy didn't know what was going on," New York City Detective Stanley Schiffman said. The shooter missed his target. Schiffman and Detective James Toretta of the 47th Detective Squad began re-examining the case about 2 years ago and discovered new information that pointed to Massolino. Schiffman's former partner, who died several years ago, was the original investigator. "I knew the players involved and found out who this guy was down in Florida," Schiffman said. "He was the shooter." Thomas G. Schiffman contacted FDLE, which provided assistance with its multi-agency cold case homicide investigative team. Investigators tracked down Massolino's wife and later found he was living with her in a motel. Detectives think he had been living on and off in Florida since the killing. On Wednesday morning, the detectives, along with FDLE Special Agent Supervisor John Coffey and Special Agent Don McCrindle, kept watch on Masolino's apartment. When he left in his car, they followed. When the Intracoastal Bridge at Dania Beach Boulevard went up on Wednesday morning, they walked up to his car, identified themselves, and asked a few questions. "I think he was very surprised to see us," Coffey said. When Coffey searched Masolino, he found a loaded .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol in his pants and a gold shield resembling a police badge. The badge said "Concealed Weapons Permit." FDLE said they had never seen a badge like it before and were checking on its authenticity. "We asked him where he was going and he said he was going to buy worms to go fishing," Schiffman said. "We thought that was odd since he was carrying a .45 pistol." Masolino told detectives he was unemployed. He formerly owned a business in North Miami Beach that trained police dogs. He pleaded guilty in 1985 in Broward Circuit Court to carrying a concealed firearm. He was taken to the Broward County Jail, where he will remain pending hearings to extradite him to New York. This story is covered by great-grandson of We Rebuilding We of GGC-TV. Please press like, subscribe, comment, and share, and thank you in advance. Stay tuned for more stories. Peace, love, and blessings.